Apparently, I'm live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It says I'm live. Oh, there we go. Welcome to my live stream, where is the worst lighting and and there's no one watching me. This is a good test. This is a good test. Welcome to my room. Also, everyone knows what a sty I live in now. I'm just copying this to Facebook to see if anybody would like to to come in and watch me. I'm going to be doing Would You Rathers. I'm excited. We're all excited. Me and all of my fans. And by fans, I mean nobody. This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous thing. Right, okay. 1 minute on stream and I've done nothing. Okay, right. So I'm going to do some Would You Rathers. I'm going to be reading off of a website called wouldyourrather.co.uk. Can't go wrong. Let's go for the first one. This one's pretty tame. Would you rather be a ninja or be a transformer? Rather be a transformer. I'm not even going to go into that because it's not that fun. Would you rather do math or not do English and walk out the classroom? Okay, well, that's stupid as well. Oh, okay, this one's cool. Would you rather fart horses or fart cats? It's got to be horse. I mean, it's got to be cats, hasn't it? Although, if you needed to get away in a hurry, you'd be able to fart, and then a horse would come out, and then you'd automatically be riding a horse. That's assuming it came out kind of like straight down, you know, rather than coming out kind of legs first, like the way that a horse is born. But if it came out straight down, it turned out that once you'd farted a horse, you were kind of riding it. It would be useful for getting away in situations where you really needed to. Imagine being held hostage and then and you're tied to a chair like in Casino Royale and James Bond. If he'd fired a horse, he would have been able to get out of there easy, and he wouldn't have had that rope flung into his balls a million times. But that would be better on getting away fast, but fighting cats would hurt less coming out, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go fight a horse just for the practicality of it. Only 26% of people agree. I wish I could share my screen, but I'm like an 80-year-old man with technology. I have no idea what is happening. So I'm kind of just sat here, and you have to look at my face. You could just turn the screen off and listen to me. I suppose that if anyone's out there, I don't know if anyone's out there because I haven't got you up on screen. Let's have a look. No, nobody's in stream. That's fine. That's fine. I don't need anybody. You can go to I've got here text question or imagine or image question. Imagine. I'd probably just text. Would you rather bully? Would you rather be a nerd being bullied every day? Are we talking about at school? Because if we're talking about at school, I think I'd rather be a nerd, to be honest with you, because at least you get something out of it. Like people that are bullies are usually bullies because of their friends or they've got something going on themselves. But when you're a nerd, like it depends, because I'm expecting a nerd to go on and actually do something. But if you get bullied so much that you just kill yourself, then you wouldn't go and do anything. But if you're kind of like Bill Gates and you get bullied and then you go on to be Bill Gates, like, does it really matter? Are you really going to be thinking about when you were bullied like 50 years later when you've got absolute billions upon billions? But then again, bullying can be fun though, right? And bullying is like so subjective as well. People think it's objective, but like a lot of things that I would say to my mates, if I said to a random person, that would be construed as bullying, when really it's just banter. Yay! No, but I'd rather be a nerd. Oh, most people would rather bully. I can't blame them. To be fair, I'd rather, it's not nice if someone. It depends on the type of bullying. If it's just hurtful words and stuff, it's kind of sticks and stones. But also, if you were a nerd in martial arts, then you'd be a bit like, yeah, that's awesome. And then you'd be able to fuck them up. Anyway, moving on. Would you rather be stranded on an island permanently, cut off from civilization, or live alone in the mountains for 20 years, cut off from civilization? Right. Well, how big's the island? That's the thing that you've got to think about here. Is like, because you want the island to be big enough that it'll be able to sustain you. If it's like a tropical island and you can get a water source and stuff like that, I think it would be like how permanently, or mountains to 20 years. I think the mountains, to be honest with you, because in the mountains you'll get fresh water, food, deer. It will get cold up there, but you'll get used to it after you've killed enough deer that you've got their pelts to keep you warm at night. Whereas on an island, let's say it's tropical, then you've got. I think it would be much more difficult. Like, you have to learn to fish. Well, I suppose that'd be easier than tracking a deer. I don't know. They both have their. I'm going to go for the mountains. Only 38% of people would live in the mountains. Crazy. Would you rather get cake for life, but your pony? That's stupid. That's a shit one. Some of these are fucking awful. Die from a falling 20,000 kilogram rock. Die from a 20,000 kilogram avalanche. Are you just getting splattered straight away? Because the worst thing would be, like, the 20,000 kilograms doesn't really matter if it lands on your legs. I mean, it will hurt like fuck, but if it, like, somehow, lands on your lower legs and just crushes them to oblivion, do you think you'd die straight away from the pain? I don't know if you would. I think I'd die straight away from the pain. But if you didn't, then you'd be laying there, like, bleeding out. But if it just, like, landed on your head and you died straight away, you wouldn't know any different, I don't think. I think you'd just be splat on the floor, and it wouldn't be a big deal. An avalanche, I feel like, would be scarier, because it would hit you and you'd feel the force. It'd be like, it's basically like a tsunami of snow, isn't it? 20,000 kilograms. And that would hit you and you'd kind of suffocate as you go, which would be pretty shit. Actually, I don't know. It's easy to imagine dying from a rock just falling on your head and squishing you. If it's a 20,000 kilogram rock just killing you straight off, I'm going for that. But if it, like, lands on your legs and then you slowly bleed out, no, thank you. No, but I'm going to go for the rock. That's quite 50-50, that one. Would you rather only eat ice cream or never have friends? I'd rather never have friends. 78% of people agreed. Oh my God. This one's horrendous. I hope there's no one watching. Oh, thank God. Thank God there's still no one watching. For anyone that gets upset, look away now and turn it off now. But this one is, would you rather rape Taylor Swift or finger Taylor Swift until she squirts enough water for the whole of Africa to survive forever? I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? To be honest with you, it would be the latter, the finger Taylor Swift, because, I mean, the other one will get you arrested, won't it? You'll go to prison forever, especially with Taylor Swift. Especially with all of her fans, you'll be the person that raped Taylor Swift. Like, because rape's horrible anyway, but when it's on somebody that everybody knows and loves and her fan base loves, you'd never be able to, after you came out, you'd never be able to walk down the street again because everyone knows who she is. Or finger her. Well, we're assuming that this is consensual because she squirts, all right? And I don't know if that happens during rape. I've never attempted it, but I don't imagine it does in my vivid imagination of rape. But I think what's it called? I think that would be a lot of squirting for her. I mean, she'd probably die afterwards. So it's really, she's sacrificing herself either way. But I'm gonna go for so that she has the whole of Africa to survive forever. Or it's a bit of a weird way that it's phrased, but I know what they're saying. That, you know, so they've got enough water forever. But then basically the whole of Africa is eating and drinking, and the animals too are drinking Taylor Swift's jizz. And that would make you feel good as well, wouldn't it? Yeah, like imagine being so good at fingering someone that they managed to squirt to fill the plains of Africa with water. You've successfully saved a lot of people through your fingering skills. There'd be people lining up round the block, wouldn't there, to be like, oh, me next, me next, me next. If you managed to do that, like either that or Taylor's really easy to make squirt. Anyway, that's the one. Only thought out of 8,000 people, only 43% of those people would finger her until she squirted to make the Africans survive. So they had water to survive forever. That's crazy. That means rather than save a bunch of people and have a consensual fingering, and the fingering's so good, she might let you have sex with her afterwards, may I add. But only 48%. That means 52% of people would rather just rape Taylor Swift. That's horrendous. That is horrendous. Okay. All right. Would you rather be a YouTuber, changing people's lives, but get a low amount of money that you can survive on? Be the most rich and famous person by hurting and cheating others? Famous, like I think you'd be infamous, wouldn't you? You'd be infamous, but if you're hurting and cheating other people, you'd be rich and infamous, infamously rich. Whereas be a YouTuber changing people's life, like I don't know if anybody watched Joe Rogan's podcast with Mr. Beast on it, but Mr. Beast was on there and he was talking about YouTube because I'm not going to explain who Mr. Beast is. I'm sure everybody knows who he is, but he was talking about how all the money he gets, he just spends back on videos, and most of his videos are about prizes or giving to charities, and he runs a lot of trusts and food banks and things like that. And he came from nothing, and he spoke about his first video when I think it was his first one where they gave him 10 grand and he just went away and gave the 10 grand to somebody else, which is crazy. And he's famous for that. You know, he could have anything he wanted. He could have all the money he wants, but he doesn't really, according to him, he doesn't really care about it. I mean, it could be a lie, but judging by no shade thrown here, but judging by, you know, what he says and the way that he dresses and stuff, and he doesn't really care. He just likes doing YouTube. It's like watching Bill Gates or someone like that. He's like the Bill Gates of YouTube. Because Bill Gates obviously is a billionaire and really cares about what he does and like connected to it, but Mr. Beast is like that, so he just doesn't really bother with anything else. You know, he doesn't need to. He's a high flyer. Anyway, yeah, I'd rather be a YouTuber that doesn't make as much, but can help people more. 70% of people agree. This one's come up again. Rape Taylor Swift. We've already had your answer, and it was still only 43%. It's unbelievable. Not doing that one. Would you rather play Xbox for the rest of your life, but you can only play one game of your choice? Okay. Live in a video game for the rest of your life with a game of your choice. See, I always feel like when people do this, it's really interesting. Like, I'd rather play it, because playing it would be so much easier than living it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you look at The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is such a good game. It's fucking awesome. But then there'd be that mentalist that wants to live in like a Dark Souls world or whatever. But it's such a good game, right? And you feel like you're Geralt and you play as Geralt. But if you went in there, you'd be the same person that you are now. You wouldn't be anything special. You wouldn't be a Witcher. If you're not high flying now, you wouldn't be high flying in the game. And it'd be much worse there because they live in like ancient kind of, not ancient, but really oldie times where they didn't have much and there was still squalor and all of that sort of stuff. You'd be, and if you're poor now, and being poor back then would be like a million times worse. All right. And there's monsters running around everywhere that you can't kill because you're useless, because you're just poor and useless, which is exactly what you are now. And if you hate me for that, then don't, because I'm poor and useless too. We're both poor and useless. That's why we're here watching a video at 11:57 in the afternoon when really we should be at work. We're poor and useless. Someone like Geralt would be out there like drumming up business, having sex, fighting something, being a general legend. We're not doing that. So I think you'd get bored of playing the same game, but compared to the difficulty of actually living inside that game, I think you die. So yeah, that's from a Witcher 2. That's from a Witcher perspective anyway. So I'm gonna go play the Xbox. 27%. That was all. Jesus Christ. I was that wrong. People would rather live inside their favorite thing. Right. Something's gone wrong with the... Still nobody. Well, that's 17 minutes. That's quite long. That's quite long to be doing a video, to be honest with you. So I think what I'll do is I'll say goodbye. Cheerio, guys.